Okay, it is 4 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Adam Johnson, Commissioner Justin Green,
Here.
Commissioner Hank Hughes,
Here.
Commissioner Lisa Kakari Stone,
Present.
and Chair Camila Bustamante.
Present. Approval of the agenda. Manager Schaefer, are there any changes to the agenda as provided?
No, Madam Chair, Commissioners, no recommended changes to the agenda as presented.
Okay. Miscellaneous action items, a resolution authorizing the issuance of sale.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. A motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion to approve the agenda from Commissioner Green, a second from Commissioner Kakari Stone. All in favor?
Aye, but I think
Aye.
we need a call with somebody online, don't we?
We haven't had a roll call with
No?
anybody online. Or
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. The agenda has been approved. Miscellaneous action items, issuance and sale of general obligation improvement bonds, Series 2025.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'll go ahead and take a lead relative to this item. Just bear with me one second. This notice of sale resolution would set in motion the steps necessary for the county to issue the lion's share of general obligation bonds, which were approved by the voters at the November general election. More specifically, the voters approved a total of $33,525,000 in general obligation bonds via three questions, specifically $4.9 million for roads, $12.5 million for water and wastewater projects, and $16,125,000 in bonds for open space, trails, and parks within the county. The bonds that are proposed to be sold to the public, which this resolution would authorize, total $21,025,000, and those are specifically for the roads and for the open space trails and park projects within the county. The balance of $12.5 million we currently intend to place with the New Mexico Environment Department for water and wastewater projects, as the interest rate charged on loans from NMED are close to zero. So in terms of what the resolution would do, it would authorize the sale of the bonds either via negotiated sale or by competitive bids. Competitive bids would be electronic through the electronic bid facilities of Grant Street Group after notice of sale is provided in accordance with law. The option of selling the bonds via negotiated sale is unlikely to be utilized. If it would be, based upon market conditions and the advice of our financial advisor. The short version is that it just provides us with an opportunity to sell the bonds more quickly in the event that we experience market turbulence that causes wild fluctuations in anticipated interest rates. The sale resolution also provides for general parameters in which the bonds have to be sold. The net effective interest rate shall not exceed 10%. The final maturity of the bonds shall be no later than July 1 of 2045. The bonds shall be sold for no less than par and not more than 115% of the face value of the bonds, and the underwriting discount shall not exceed 3% of the par amount of the bonds. In terms of general schedule, we anticipate selling the bonds, as I indicated, via competitive bond sale on or about June 5, after we receive the ratings on the bonds that have been applied for from Standard & Poor's towards the end of this month. The resolution would also approve the preliminary official statement, which is what will be provided to prospective bidders. It provides really basic background information about the county, its financial state, our valuations, as well as overlapping debt and the like. While ultimately the preliminary official statement, belongs to the county and thus to the Board of County Commissioners. I will note for the record that various staff at the county has reviewed and recommends the preliminary official statement to include myself, our Finance Division Director, as well as our Deputy County Manager, Leandro Cordova. In addition, the preliminary official statement that's been presented to the board for approval as part of this resolution has been reviewed and approved by our bond counsel, Peter Franklin, as well as our financial advisor, Eric Harrigan of RBC Capital Markets. Lastly, the notice of sale resolution would also approve a form of registrar and paying agent agreement. This is an agreement between the county and BOKF, National Association. They would provide registration services as well as paying services and really act as an intermediary between the county and bondholders by keeping records of who owns the bonds as well as by making scheduled payments on the county's behalf. The fees that they charge for those services are relatively modest, and it takes a burden off of our county treasurer and our finance department, who principally the county treasurer, who would otherwise be responsible for those services. So that's a high-level summary of the item before the board today. Again, we're seeking to sell the bonds in the month of June with a closing of July 1st, which would be the date on which the bond proceeds would be available to the county for expenditure. And with that, I and Yvonne and Leandro, as well as our bond counsel and financial advisor, who I believe are on the call remotely, would be pleased to answer any questions the board might have.
Thank you, Manager Schaefer. Do we have any questions for staff? Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, not to say timing the market isn't the best of things, but are we looking to do this in the next 30 days because of an urgency of getting this money in place, or an urgency because of the market timing? Does bond counsel or any financial people give us some sort of guidance on interest rates and a better, trend on this sale?
Chair Bustamante, Commissioner Green, would certainly ask our financial advisor, Eric Harrigan, to weigh in. I believe, from where I sit, the reason to move forward now is that obviously there's a fair amount of uncertainty relative to what the future may hold. Eric can speak better as to current market conditions, which seem to have at least stabilized a bit in terms of creating an environment where, assuming the rating is what we hope for, should allow the county to sell the bonds at a favorable interest rate. In addition, while it appears not to have been in the markup in the House bill, there is periodically continued interest in doing away with the tax advantage status of municipal bonds, which would significantly increase our borrowing cost. So, selling the bonds while that tax advantage feature of the federal income tax code is still in place has its own advantages. And as I said, I don't believe that provision is in the marked up version of the House, but nonetheless, they are looking for ways to, save money in order to fund other things, and the municipal bonds does come up from time to time. So that would be my response to that question. And then finally, having the funds available just means that, again, it's money in the bank that we can begin spending down.
Great, thank you for clarifying that. Thanks.
Additional questions for staff? Commissioner Hughes? Any questions?
Quick question, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm wondering, it sounded like we're gonna borrow $12 million from the Environment Department rather than sell obligation bonds, is that right, for wastewater and water?
Chair Bustamante, Commissioner Hughes, the funding mechanism would remain the same in that they would be general obligations of the county. So we would repay the loan to NMED using the proceeds of a property tax levy. So we would still, it would still technically be a general obligation of the county. But what you said is correct. Rather than issue bonds to the financial markets, the plan is to attempt to borrow that money to be repaid with property tax proceeds or a property tax levy from funds administered by the New Mexico Environment Department.
Okay.
Any
That's
further
interesting.
questions? If we have no further questions, do we have an action?
Sure, I will make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation improvement bonds, Series 2025, in a principal amount of up to $21,025,000, including approval of forms of a preliminary official statement and registrar/paying agent agreement.
We have a motion by Commissioner Green. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a second by Commissioner Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Motion carries. We need resolution number.
Resolution number 2025055.
055. Thank you very much. Do we have any announcements?
Just to remind everybody, it's San Ysidro this weekend up in Chimayo. Please come up on Sunday between 2 and 4 and come check out the Plaza del Cerro, which is an amazing monument to Spanish heritage in the north.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Anything else?
Just don't forget about tomorrow's special meeting. I'm kidding.
We have a special meeting at 9 o'clock a.m. We'll see. That, for the record, is a joke. That was actually started by the manager, so no one. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Green, a second.
Second.
A second by Commissioner Kokari Stone. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Have a great evening.